Welcome back. All right, so the career of Craig Anderson, who announced at the end of this season in Buffalo, that's it, he's done. Now, I did a Craig Anderson video a couple years back when he hit 300 wins. Now we're doing this video on his entire career. I felt like wearing Ottawa made the most sense. He played there a long time. He won an award as a member of the Ottawa Senators, and he was part of a very memorable run for the Ottawa Senators as well. He's a number 73 pick in 2001. It was the second time he was in the draft. He was originally drafted 77th overall in 1989 by the Calgary Flames. Could not come to a contract agreement with them, so he went right back into the draft. That was the thing. 2 years after your draft, if you hadn't signed a contract, you go right back in. So Craig Anderson would make his debut with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2002-2003. Basically a cup of coffee here. 6 games, 0-3-2 record with an .856 save percentage. 2003-2004, as the backup for Chicago, 21 games, a record of 6-14 and a .905 save percentage. These were not the Chicago Blackhawks. They would be a half a decade later. 2005-2006, so after the lockout takes up the season of 04-05, he's still in Chicago. 29 games, 6-12-4 record, .886 save percentage. However, he bounces around the league a bit, even though he's still a Chicago Blackhawk. January 19th, claimed by Boston. Doesn't play a game. January 31st, he's claimed by St. Louis. So these teams put him on waivers. So now St. Louis has claimed him. And then on February 3rd, so a few days later, he was claimed back by the Chicago Blackhawks. So he bounced around to 3 different teams, ends up right back where he started. And doesn't miss a beat. So June 24th of that year, he was traded for a 2008 6th-round pick to the Florida Panthers. So Florida picks him up, and again, not much in the way of expectation. He doesn't play a ton in the 06-07 season. 5 games, a record of 1-1-1, but the save percentage of .931, that's encouraging. So his save percentage, the best it had been to that point, and then 07-08, plays more games that year, 17. 8-6-1 record in those 17 games, and a .935 save percentage. So that starts coming up, and things are looking good. 2008-2009 in his final season in Florida, 31 games, 15-7-5 record. His .924 save percentage was 3rd in the NHL that year. So overall, his numbers excellent, and so he becomes a target in free agency. Young goaltender hitting free agency, and July the 1st, he signs as a free agent with the Colorado Avalanche. And Colorado, well, they put him to work. He ended up being the surprising starter in 09-10, played 71 games, which was 5th overall in the NHL, 38 wins, which was 7th overall, 25 losses, which is 16th, or 6th, I should say, overall in the league, and 7 ties, overtime losses, shootout points. However you want to look at them, that third column, always there. And we don't really pay much attention to it, nor should we. .917 save percentage, and then in the playoffs, 6 games, 2-4. In those playoffs, .933 save percentage. So his numbers are great. In fact, he's 4th in Vezina voting that year, and he's 9th in Hart voting. So he goes from being claimed on waivers 3 times in less than a month to being the backup in Florida after a couple years where he wasn't really playing very much at all. And then suddenly he's one of the top 5 in the Vezina voting that following year in Colorado. 2010-2011, 33 games in Colorado, 13-15-3 record, .897 save percentage. So he can't follow that up. He's not able to have another season like he had the previous. So Colorado decides to make a trade, and it's a goalie-for-goalie trade. February 18th, he was traded for Brian Elliott. Brian Elliott, who had had some good years with Ottawa, but he played his way out. And in Ottawa, Craig Anderson hits that next year. 18 games and a record of 11-5-1 with a .939 save percentage. So the combined number of .897, .939, it ends up right around the middle there, but he's playing much better in Ottawa than he had played in Colorado before that. Clearly the trade benefited him. As I remember, Elliott didn't last that long in Colorado. The trade didn't benefit him nearly as much as it did for Anderson. So then in his first full season in Ottawa, pretty good season. 63 games, 33 wins, which is 10th overall in the NHL, 22 regulation losses, which is 7th. That third column with the 6th there. .914 save percentage in the playoffs, 7 games, a record of 3-4 with a .933 save percentage. So Anderson has become a starter. Went from a starter in Colorado to being out of Colorado, and now he's a starter in Ottawa. 2012-2013, lockout shortened season there, plays 24 games, a record of 12-9-2, 941 save percentage, which is first in the NHL, a 1.69 goals against average, and in the playoffs, 10 games played, a record of 5-4, 918 save percentage, and fourth in Vezina voting that year. So he narrowly misses being a finalist for the Vezina 2 seasons in his time between 2009, 2010, and 2012, 2013. So 2013, 2014, 53 games, a record of 25, 16, and 8, 911 save percentage there. We're into that period where Ottawa would make the playoffs every other year, a pattern which they would break by not making the playoffs for a while. 2014-2015 plays 35 games, a record of 14, 13, and 8, 923 save percentage, which is 7th overall in the NHL that year. In the playoffs, he's 2-2 in 4 games with a 972 save percentage. His playoff numbers are excellent. Really, they are. 2015-2016, 60 games played, which was 10th overall in the NHL that year. 31, 23, and 5 record. The 23 regulation losses are 7th in the NHL. 916 save percentage. So his numbers are good. His numbers are very good throughout. 2016-2017, this is the big year. 40 games, 25-11-4 record, 926 save percentage, which is 3rd overall. In the playoffs, a record of 11-8 in 19 games, 922 save percentage. He won the Masterton Trophy that year because on October 29th of 2016, his wife was diagnosed with throat cancer. He would leave the team. He would deal with that, and he still played really well despite what we totally would have understood as being a major off-ice distraction. And so it becomes kind of this big thing for Ottawa that, like, they're playing for Anderson, and Anderson's playing for them. And when he's in the net, he's very good. And that's both in the regular season and in the playoffs. Sadly, that run did not extend further than it did in 2017. They get stopped by the Penguins. But 2017-2018, things kind of fall apart for the Senators. He ends up playing 58 games that year, a record of 23-25 and 6. The 25 regulation losses are 9th overall in the NHL, and his save percentage dives to 898. So he's not able to follow up what was a fantastic season with another one. And again, remember, he's drafted in 2001, so he's getting older. And even with goaltenders, they do get older. They tend to seemingly age better than other skaters and players, but goaltenders, the march of age, it gets everybody. 2018-2019 plays 47 games, 17-27-4 record. The 27 regulation losses are 2nd in the NHL, 903 save percentage. 2019-2020, 34 games, 11-17-2 record, 902 save percentage. The 17 losses in regulation are 10th overall in the NHL that year. So the perception is at this point, well, he's probably done. But January 13th of the following season, he signs as a free agent with the Capitals. Well, the Capitals need some goaltending depth. So they pick him up, and he would come up towards the end of the season, and he played well. In 4 games, a record of 2-1-0, 915 save percentage. He played 2 playoff games that year as well. Went 1-1 with a 929 save percentage. And it kind of let all of us know that while Anderson looked like he was done when he was finished with the Ottawa Senators and they decided to move in another direction, he still had some hockey left in him. So 2021-2022, he signs July 28th before that season gets started with the Buffalo Sabres. Now, for the Sabres, it did kind of feel like they were signing veterans, and this was to make sure they had those veterans to protect their rookies so they weren't in the lineup too soon. But Anderson has a pretty decent record. 31 games, 17-12-2 record, 897 save percentage. So again, Craig Anderson shows he can still play. He may not be the goaltender he was, say, in 2015-2016, 2016-2017, and around that era, but he can still play. He can still be a decent backup option or 1A, 1B situation, right? 2022-2023, the season that's just finished, regular season anyways, 26 games with the Sabres, 11-11-2 record, 908 save percentage. So his numbers got better this year. I think if he had wanted to come back for another year, he could have found somewhere to play as the backup. I don't know if that would have been Buffalo necessarily, but I think he could have found a backup job somewhere. So at the end of his career, 709 games played, which among goaltenders is 29th all-time. 319 wins, which is 31st all-time. 275 losses in regulation, which is 27th all-time. 73 ties, overtime losses, shootout losses. 912 save percentage, which is solid over a career. in the playoffs in 48 games, a record of 24-23 and a .929 save percentage. So Craig Anderson, really solid career the whole way through, basically. And again, 2020, 2021, it was kind of like, well, he's done. He's playing in the AHL. That's the end of that. But he has 2 years with Buffalo after that. Adds another 57 games, adds another 28 wins, gets to that 300 win mark, and keeps his numbers pretty solid. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.